a sudden I'm in front of hundreds of people, or 100. Hi, everybody.
Nines of people.
Nines, exactly. I didn't have time to straighten my tie yet, so bear with me, everybody.
Oh, sure. Now when you put it that way. Hey, I didn't want to be spotlighted.
Whatever with your Windsor knot.
Full, baby. So much Windsor here.
So it's like being in England, basically. But we're almost there. Everybody get ready. Get your
Yeah.
thinking caps on. It's a tough one today. There she is.
Do you want to join us for we have 15 more seconds of witty repartee?
We can banter. Oh, it's time. All right, all right, all right, all right. Coming to you live from everywhere in the world, but especially Rimrock, Arizona. It's Xuanzang's Tower. And here is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Geshe Michael.
That means I got old. Okay. What's next? Any announcements, Nick?
No, I think we're just happy to have you with some live classes for Xuanzang's Tower. And today we have a very promising to be difficult class with Utpala. And so focus hard, and I will try as well. That's all I got for today. Ben, do we have anything else?
That sounds right.
All right.
Oh, you want an advertisement here?
Yes.
We were hoping.
I got this sent to me because I'm a member of the Good Night Book Club.
Wow.
And Nick, there's an evolution of the name from Good Night Book Club to the Night Book Club, and now it's the nightclub.
We've all been waiting for.
When you go to the nightclub, the first thing you get, and Lindsay delivered them, you get Word's Golden Key, which is great for if you have trouble sleeping, just open that up. And then I got this special box with my name on it, and I was hoping it was toffee, but it's everybody who joins the Good Night Book Club gets it's a new edition of an old classic.
Wow.
And if you're interested in Diamond Way, it's called Door to the Diamond Way. And we're actually going to be covering it soon. So, and you get this free bookmarker and you get a birthday card or something like that.
It is a meticulously cleaned new edition. That new edition is not just a reprinting. It represents many, many hours of people scrubbing it to the bones for every detail to make it so beautiful for you and newly referenced and cross-referenced. It's a magnificent work.
Especially a certain there she is. Paula, hit us with your homework.
Okay. No, I won't hit you. Can you see the quiz?
Yes.
Yep. Interlude on
Against my better judgment, I admit it.
So we're still in the land of mind only. And we recently came back to a part that we're sort of familiar with. So it feels a little comfortable at the moment, right? We started going over, again, 3 aspects that the mind only speaks of, right? The Xuanzangs, the Kuntoks, and the Yangdu, right? Remember?
Yep.
Yeah, one person is nodding their head. Yay! Okay. So what is the example of a changing thing, Xuanzang, that K.J. gives us? I didn't need to capitalize that, but hey, I was in a mood. Please also give the Tibetan. Do you remember?
It's not unfrequently blue.
That's what I was going to say too.
It's the
Or
wisdom
coffee cup.
Often.
The wisdom of an Arya
Oscar?
after the direct perception of emptiness.
Oh, that sounds so much better.
You're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, too
Oscar,
smart.
not everything
Too
is
smart,
direct.
Oscar.
He said an example is every functioning thing.
Oh,
Ooh.
is that one example?
You're right.
This
Yes.
one.
Every is singular in this case.
Yeah, she's
So-
got you.
What would the Tibetan be for this phrase?
No potamche?
That
No.
would be part of it. What would the first part of it be? An example is,
Karna?
he said it's senshini.
Senshi.
Oh, an example. Oh,
Oh, great. Yeah, classic
Okay.
example.
Great, thank you.
Cool.
So now changing things can be divided into two. So what are the two aspects of a changing thing?
physical and mental?
That is a mental changing thing. I mean, that's one way, but what's the way that KJ gave us?
Yeah.
Pure and impure.
Yes, right. Changing things which are pure and changing things which are impure. And now, Q, Oscar, what is the example of each that KJ gives us? Changing things which are pure.
Is the wisdom after an Arya perceives emptiness directly?
Is it just any old Arya?
Oh, right, in the Mahayana path, in the greater way.
Yes, an Arya of the greater ways, worldly wisdom subsequent to the direct perception of emptiness. Brilliant. And now, what is an example of changing things which are impure?
Just like
Ye-
a Sosokewa and their view of the world, their
Great.
misunderstand. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
Ordinary person's delusions of the world. Great.
Nice.
We're doing great, right? So little silence in this quiz. I'm
This is
just
doing great.
amazed.
It would make
Okay.
us look better, Oscar, if you would not give us a pause to answer. Just jump right in.
So now K-J gives a rather unique, in terms of the mind only,
Oscar went to study overseas.
presentation of a mental construct or a kuntak. What does he say it is? And what example did he give?
Mental construct.
Kuntak.
Perfect silence.
Perfect silence.
It's just a construct.
Okay, it's a mere label of thought, which mainly takes as its basis a changing thing. Okay.
Almost like a
Now,
definition.
what would be the example that he gave? Does anyone remember?
Mountain.
What was that?
Mountain
Oh.
versus
Somebody said mountains.
Yep. Well, that's not the one that he gave. It's kind of similar to the one given for changing things, but different. It's all general categories.
Chichen.
Chichen,
That was
right.
easy.
Yay. Okay, and we get a bonus question. So we then, K-J then quotes Jason Kappa from his Art of Interpretation, and we took a short detour to that text to find the context of that quote. And Jason Kappa gave us a little extra tidbit about kuntaks and a warning. What was the tidbit that he gave us about kuntaks?
Total silence.
Well, he talks about imaginary that contacts could be like real or unreal.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
For example,
Nice.
empty space
Yeah.
and categories are existing things.
Yep.
And then his warning.
Don't confuse the unreal ones for real ones.
Well, in what context, Nick? When is that particularly important?
When you're talking about emptiness, when you want to define emptiness.
Right. So when we're establishing the meaning of emptiness in the mind-only school, and we're explaining it as the absence of something, it would be undesirable to use mental constructs that do exist. Yay.
Okay.
So does this word have an English equivalent? Yes. What would it be?
Impute. Label, designate.
Examine.
Thanks.
Examined.
Examined.
Yeah.
And what does this word
nice.
Nick?
Labeled.
Labeled. Right. Now, what are the words that are, let's see, the active tense of these two words? We'll start with Bertok.
Stop.
Say it again.
Stop.
Could you spell it for me?
Maybe.
Got an owl.
Huh?
That one's RTOG.
Oh.
Yeah, Tokpa. Very good. Now, Nick, what's the present tense of talk?
Ow. No.
Good.
Stop.
Ndo.
Right. Right.
Nice.
Very good.
Right. Excellent.
What is the Tibetan word for undesirable?
Homework.
Homer?
The English word for undesirable. To not desire or undesirable?
Machakpa or something?
Someone tried to take control of my screen. Mikoa.
Isn't that not necessary? Isn't that not necessary?
Yeah, but in the context.
Yeah.
Please stop trying to get control of my screen. You cannot have it.
You keep it.
Thank you.
Hey, nice homework. Excellent homework, by the way. Wow.
Well, it was an excellent class.
Not the answer, but the questions were good. All right.
So now here's my translation. So you asked me to do this right here, but I had to go and find the file and get the rest so I could get the verb.
Okay.
Oh, you mean because it's from Jason Kappa?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we're now back. We're in the detour still. So we covered, I just had the day doc up here because we covered that. That was the last thing we covered. And that's the quote that KJ pulled out. And Jason Kappa continues, Shiro la tepe sungzin gokpa ni tekdu sumilam dang suk nyen la sok pe rikpadang ni shupar dul chame gokpe rikpadang chekidrakpe sungzin ki seni ke la drawa gokpar rikpadang chok lang ki dur Patang Charab Sung Dunyim Bangkope Rikbanam,
Wow. Okay. As for refuting that grass may proceed or relies on a perceived object being external, maybe. There are the line of reasoning in the summary about a dream and reflection in the mirror and the like. Okay. And the line of reasoning in the 20 refuting partless atoms, Duchame Koperik Padang. Chiki Jakbe. The line of reasoning by Master Dharmakirti, refuting that the perceiver and the perceived object, Xuanzang Kitseni Kipa, right by definition. Okay. Koperik Padang. In the line of reasoning by Master Dignaga. Shooting that collection of particles and smallest particles. Cholangi dul dupadang charab sindanyima. Okay, good. That's okay. Yep. Difficult. Yep. Not easy. Cool. Cool. All right, here we go. Back to work. Let me make sure I have something on the screen. Come on, honey bunny. Okay.
Great job on the homework, you guys. Really, that was great.
You did a good job on homework. Okay, let me do one thing before we start. Hello. Here we go. Okay. Back to Zoom. Okay, here we go. Okay, where did the people go? I don't know. Okay. I think we're how far did we get?
No, what I translated was above where you have stopped here.
Oh, okay. So we start here at 370?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Can you read this paragraph yourself and then we'll pick on somebody else?
Okay. Shesumpani Dratakpe Tongpa Tabuni Dratakpameto She Sokjepa Gompe Bakchak Xuanzang Ki Lo Yudu Kyurwang Mayinla Dralatakpameto She Jepe Tani Sam Ki Kyang Jokminu Kyang Tokpe Takpe Chitsen Yin Pe Kontak Kitsen Shirja Ge Tabu Namso.
Yeah, so it's a very difficult sentence, and we're in the mind-only school. And they say there's three kinds of things in the universe. The first is easy, Shenwang, all changing things, everything in the world that's changing, coffee cups, tables, everything else. And then there's concepts, conceptual things called kuntag. And they're like unchanging conceptual things like empty space, emptiness itself. And also in that category, sometimes we put things that don't exist that you thought existed. And then the fact that changing things are empty of what you thought they were, but they're not, is called yogdu, which is emptiness in the mind-only school. So start with a coffee cup. Imagine that it's an outside. When you look at the blue of the coffee cup, imagine that you are looking at some outside object. That outside object is a false thing. You're actually looking at blue in your own mind, according to mind-only school. You're looking at blue in the kunshi, in the storehouse consciousness. So the blue which is outside is a conceptual blue, but it doesn't exist. Okay, you can imagine it, but it doesn't exist. Okay, and then the fact that that blue doesn't exist is emptiness in the mind-only school, which is the third of the mind-only school categories, which is called yogdru, which is totality. Okay, so take changing things, subtract what they are not, and you reach emptiness. It's a formula. Okay, Now, the name for what they are not is kuntak. And depending on how you spell it, as we saw in the homework, it can mean labeled, which means just the creation of your mind, or it can mean examined if it's spelled differently, okay? But as we saw in the homework, kuntak literally means labeled, okay? Labeled. So what I think he's covering in this paragraph is, are all the imaginary things like the blue, outside blue, which in the mind-only school cannot exist, does not exist. It's just imaginary, kuntak. So in the literal meaning of the word kuntak is labeled. And what it means is you made it up with a word and it's not really there. So we call it labeled. But he wants to explore whether all those things are actually labeled. Okay? So he's saying we call them kuntaks. We call them labeled things, but labeled in the sense of imaginary, just labeled with your imagination. But he says, is there a place where we could explore those things as the labels of names? Labels labeled with a name. And would it have the same meaning? Okay, I'll say it again. This blue as an outside object is imaginary. It's just created by my mind. But the literal word means labeled. So is there a place where you could interpret labeled to mean not there? You just in English, we say, we just call it outside, but it's not. Okay, so then I think he's exploring the question of labels. Why is labeled mean non-existing? And it means you just made it up with the name, but it's not there. Outside blue is not there. You can use a name, you can make a label, but it's false. And the word label is meant to imply that, oh, that's just your own creation. You're just labeling it something that it's not. So he's exploring the idea of label. Okay? So Sunidata Betawan, what's that mean? Utpala.
It's like that sound is impermanent.
Yeah. Sound
like
is
emptiness.
Yeah, sound is, and don't forget in English, empty requires the genitive of. You have to say this cup is empty of being blue on the outside. But in Tibetan, you have to use the instrumental. It's empty by blue. Okay, in Tibetan, you have to use an S, an instrumental S. So here it says, sound is empty of what?
Permanence.
Of being unchanging. Sound is empty of being unchanging. Okay, so let's take that concept, which is a very, very, very famous Buddhist concept. Where did it come from? It came from the first syllogism of all Buddhism. What's that mean?
Argument about non-Buddhist.
Yeah, let's take sound. Let's take sound. Mitakte, it's constantly changing moment by moment. Why? Because it was produced by your throat and your tongue. Anything produced by causes is changing moment by moment, okay? And that was a response to a Hindu school that said the word Om is unchanging. Om is eternal in the sense of unchanging. So we said, no, it's not. And they said, why? And we said, because you said it. Anything produced with your tongue and your throat is changing. Its nature is changing. That sound will dissipate and then a new sound will come up, okay? So let's take the fact that sound is empty of being unchanging, okay? The Dhatapa Medoshe, then you can say sound, there's no such thing as a sound which is unchanging. I'll say it again. What does it mean to say sound is empty of not changing? And you say, it's the fact that sound is not unchanging. It's the fact that there doesn't exist any sound which is unchanging. To say that sound is empty of being unchanging is to say there's no sound which is unchanging. That's all. Okay? The fact that sound is empty of not changing is equivalent to saying there's no such thing as a sound which is unchanging. Okay, got it? He's just explaining, you don't have to call it emptiness. You don't have to say sound is empty of unchanging. You can just say no sound is unchanging. There's no such thing as a sound which is unchanging. Or you could say sound is empty of being unchanging. They mean the same thing. They mean the same thing. To say something is empty of something and to say something is not something, it's the same thing. Okay. She Jipa Kombe Bakchak. What's this komba mean, Utpala?
That Jipa Gumba is that the from beginningless time we've gotten used to it a certain way?
Yeah, this kom is not the word gom. And thank goodness your Tibetan teacher taught you the difference between gom and kom. Kom. By the way, the second sound does not exist in English. Nobody goes around and saying, did you open the garage? We have the hard one. We have garage. When the G is hard in gom, it means to meditate. Okay. When it's soft, calm, a big difference. Gom, listen, gom, calm, gom, calm. Okay. Gom means meditate. Calm means to get used to something. Okay. And it's beautiful that the word for meditation is built from the word for getting used to something. Okay. So this is get used to something. Japa Gom means you repeat a word for billions of lifetimes. You put a bakchak in your mind for that. Okay. If you say long enough, if you say enough times that sound is not unchanging, then sooner or later you will build up a habit of thinking of it that way. Okay. And the idea, by the way, this Kombe Bakchak was used to, I like the use of it in the mind-only school to explain why it feels like the cup is half a meter away from me. Okay. It feels like the cup is outside. It feels like it's a half a meter. What created the impression of distance? Because it's false. In the mind-only school, it's false. Yeah, I'm really looking at inside my own mind. But so people say, okay, I understand. I'm really looking inside my own mind, but I think it's outside. But where did the impression of distance come from? And why can it increase and decrease? Yeah, that seems pretty real. And the explanation in the mind-only school is, you said it so many billions of times in your lifetimes, the cup is out there, that you started to believe it. It created a distance. It created an imaginary distance. It's all an illusion. Okay? But that illusion comes from billions of lifetimes saying the cup is out half a meter away. Okay, the impression, the false impression of distance is created by billions of lifetimes of repetition of the wording. And here, the impression of that something is changing or unchanging is also created by the wording over billions of lifetimes. Okay, got it? Wang Tam, what's that, Utpala?
Only through the power of saying it over and over.
Yeah, it's just because of constant repetition for billions of lifetimes. It just is important here, right? It's just that. It's very similar to the just in matra, Chitta matra. The name of the other name of the mind only. It's just billions of lifetimes of repeating it. But it is not a loy yu.
It's not an object in the mind.
Yeah, and an implied correct a pramana. It's not the feeling of distance is not an object of correct perception, of accurate perception. It's just an illusion from billions of lifetimes of saying that. Okay. By the way, this whole section is a wrap up of the Mind Only School's 3 qualities. And this section is a wrap up of the idea of kunta, of imaginary things, which unfortunately means labeled. Okay, so he's talking about where do labels come from? Okay, Mayinla, Dala Tapa Medo. What's that mean?
There is no sound that is
good. There's
unchanged.
nothing unchanging. There's no quality of unchangingness about sound. Okay. She jepe tanye samki joke minu. Just by saying, just by repeating to somebody after a billion lifetimes of hearing the opposite, and they say, listen, sound is not unchanging. You know, is it enough to reverse billions of lifetimes of habit? Is it enough? Is it enough to reverse billions of lifetimes of habit to say sound is not unchanging?
Well, in another billion years.
Yeah. Joke minu means you're not going to make your point just by repeating it once to somebody. You know, you think sound is unchanging? Well, it's not. But they've been thinking that for millions of lifetimes. So how are you going to, you know, minu means you can't. Okay. Okay. And you can make up words for things and they become kuntak, but that doesn't make them a real category of existence. Okay, just creating a new label is not enough. Okay, okay. Tope takpa means what?
Merely labeled with an idea.
Yeah, just a label of a concept. Okay, just a label of a concept. Chitzen.
It's a general idea.
Yeah, that's a concept. Okay, that's a concept. Yimbe, therefore, kuntak. Any comment about the spelling?
Use the right one.
Yeah.
Is it the right one or the wrong one? This is the one that means examined. It is not the one which means labeled, as we learned in the homework. Okay, who's speaking here?
Cater J.
I mean, well, Cater J, and it's also he's been quoting Xuanzang Kappa.
Right.
And to be honest, they had a problem with it. They mixed it up sometimes. Okay, I don't think it should be BR. I think it should be BT. Okay. Okay, where are you gonna find an example for something labeled? He says, okay, mind only school, default mind school. Yes. Do they have 3 categories? Yes. What are the 3 categories? Well, the first one is really easy. Anything that changes, which means anything that does anything. It's a synonym. If it changes, it does something. If it does something, it changes. There's equal set. You know, everything that does something changes, and everything that changes does something. Okay, so that one's easy. What's the second one? Kunta. What's that? Made up ideas, made up stuff. Like, I don't know, a sound which is unchanging. Okay. So is it enough to be in the second category? Is it enough to be labeled? That's the point. Is it enough to be labeled to be in the second category? I can create a label. I can say this cup is unchanging. That's a label. Does it become kuntak?
Well,
does it become the category of mind only school just because I said so?
You're saying is, but as for the object, That's a different story.
Yeah, and I think the point of this paragraph is, look, Kuntak's, the second category of the mind-only school, of course, it does mean labeled, but we're not talking about any old label you make up. We're talking about billion lifetime labels. Got it? Okay. Just saying something, just labeling something something is not enough to qualify as the second group in the mind-only school, because by canceling that, you don't arrive at emptiness. By canceling that, you don't arrive at emptiness. Does it mean labeled? Yes. Does it refer to anything labeled you can make up? Fish have wings. No. Why? Because understanding that fish have wings is false is not going to bring you to the emptiness. Got it? Okay. When we say label, we want the big ones, the billion lifetime labels. We don't want any label that you can make up. Fish have wings. Okay. Did you understand that fish don't have wings? Yes. Did you perceive emptiness? No. It's not Kuntak. Is it labeled? Yes. Is it imaginary? Yes. Is it important? No. That's the point here. Okay, got it? Not all Kuntaks are Kuntak. Got it?
So, but Kuntaks in the sense of the Kuntak that would, when denied, would lead you to Yongdru.
Empty. Yeah, Yongdru. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the point he's making here. And that's why he brought up Ngunchugi Bakchak. That's why he brought up billions of lifetime label. Billion lifetime label. Those are the labels we're talking about. We're not talking about just anything you make up. Okay?
But the billion lifetime label was made up.
It was. Yeah, it was made up. Yeah. It is a construction. It is an imaginary construction. But in the mind-only school, we're not interested in the little imaginary constructions that happen day to day. Oh, this is fishes have wings. We're interested in the big time ones. And by the way, there's a famous argument. Do all Kuntaks not exist? Do all labeled ideas not exist?
No.
Yeah, we saw it in the homework. There's labeled things that do exist, like I don't know, emptiness, or not emptiness, but stuff like that. There are labels that are valid. Okay. And where do those go? If the three categories of the mind-only school cover all existing things, where do you put unchanging things that do exist, like empty space? That's the creation of a label. But yeah, you got to put it somewhere. So you put it in. Therefore, you have to say imaginary things have existing ones and non-existing ones. General categories, Tibetan is what? Chitsens do exist. There is a thing called cars. There is a thing called cars. There is a thing called cups. Can you touch it? No. Does it change? No. Does it disappear? Yes. Does it change before it disappears? No. Does it ever change? No. Can it go out of existence? Yes. It can go out of existence without changing. Correct. Okay, got it? And those are Kuntaks. So Kuntaks can be existing. That's a little problem with the mind-only school. Okay? And a category, cars, cups, fish, that's unchanging. The individual fish are changing in the group, but the group itself is an imagination. It's an imaginary set with real members. But the set is imaginary, right? Those Kuntaks exist. Those labels exist. Okay, got it? All right. By the way, he should have put this whole section where, Utpala?
At the beginning.
Yeah, goddamn. We're 371. We're like 2 years into this text. Now he's going to define the mind-only school stuff after debating it for 2 years. Now, just before you walk into the middle way door, just before you leave the mind-only school, you finally tell us what the hell are their three categories? Thanks. That's big of you, Okay?
Oh, really?
Did you guys want a definition of kuntak? Here you go. I mean, any other book would have put it at the beginning, right? And then had all the arguments. All right. Why he does that, who knows?
Geshe-la.
Please. Yeah.
I was about to make a comment, and then Ketchup J's actually doing it right here. I think I agree that Jason Kappa and Ketchup J seem to use the incorrect spelling of kuntak from time to time. But I think the one he used previously in the paragraph was purposefully used, because he says tokbe takbe chitsen. Basically, he defines kuntak as the thing that is labeled with that sort of incorrect examination, and that is a kuntak.
Yeah, so he used the right one there, and we wish he would have used it with kuntak. Yeah, it's confusing though. By the way, the Sanskrit is confusing.
I know.
Okay, probably the same word. Okay, who's gonna read Utpala 371?
I would like Venerable Xuanzang to read, please.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Senyi tokpe tappa samgangshik lochul we dandupa.
Dundupa. Yeah, yeah, he's gonna give us a senyi finally, which is where it always comes in the beginning on every other book. Here's the definition of a kuntak. Here's the definition of a kuntak. The first half I agree with, the second half I'm not sure. And it's very short, so we can hold it in our mind, right? Okay, here it is. Don't be talked some. It's just labeled by your imagination. Yeah, it's just it's a label created by your imagination. Okay, that's okay. That part's okay. Then he says it's always a dun of a low truma.
So
it's always the object of a
mistaken state of mind.
Of a mistaken state of mind, which precludes emptiness, which precludes empty space, which precludes unchanging things that do exist. Okay, there are concepts, chitsens. There are cars, cups, fish. The group, the set is unchanging, and it's a label. Okay, but he says it has to be false. It has to be wrong. Okay, so Caleb J, where's empty space in your mind-only school structure? Where are you going to put it now? You said we can't put it in imaginary things, labeled things. It's obviously not a changing thing, and it's not emptiness. Where is it going to go? Where will it go? Where will you think it will go? It should go in kuntaks. It should go in labeled things, but it's not lo true dun. It's not the object.
Is he distinguishing though, again?
He's giving this as the definition of kuntak. Okay, and it's an interesting approach. It's an interesting approach. It's just that it's not complete anymore. There's kuntaks which do exist. There's imaginary things which do exist. Empty space, categories. Okay, got it? You okay? You all right? Facts.
No, do you have a
solution
for this?
Facts are kuntak. The sky is blue. Is that changing or unchanging? It's unchanging as long as the sky is there. Okay. So where do you put it, KJ? Is it a false perception? Is the sky not blue? Is your sky green? Okay. All right. Anyway. Now, normally in the beginning of a book, you give the definition, and then you give the typical categories of a thing. Okay, you give the typical divisions of a thing. When you present a concept in a Buddhist book, normally you in the beginning you give the definition, the divisions, and then you give the typical examples, prime examples. Okay, here's the divisions. Who's gonna read Venerable Utpala?
Venerable Xuanzang again, because that one was so short.
All right.
Okay. Jena, sukso.
Good. Yena. Yena.
Yena, suksok, nyowodang. Kepa gitane ki si yinpa tabu namjakwe kuntak dang. Daki tabu seni yongsu chepe. Kuntakso.
Yeah, and then he says, do you want examples of kuntak? Yes, please. Well, there's existing ones and there's non-existing ones. But you just said they always had to be the object of a mistaken state of mind. Oh, did I say that? Okay. By the way, his divisions here in this section are theoretical divisions, and sometimes they are thematic divisions. They're not real divisions. So that's a Buddhist thing. You have real divisions and you have cute divisions. And the cute divisions are just to teach you something else. So I think he's using a cute division here. He says, kuntaks, in the last sentence, he said, kuntaks are always mistaken, objects of a mistaken state of mind. Then in the next sentence, he says, and there's two kinds of kuntaks, those that are real and those that aren't. Thanks. So when I see the ones that are real, do I have a mistaken state of mind? No. But you just said that was the definition of kuntak. Yeah, did I? Okay. All right. So yena means if you divide what? Yeah, the different kinds of kuntaks. There's two kinds. Okay. What's the first one? Well, that's namdangbe kuntak. Namdangbe kuntak means labels in the sense of optional labels. Okay, label options. Okay, what's an example? Ngo dan kepa ki tanye ki shi yimba. Ngo dan kepa ki tanye ki shi. We could say, for example, by the way, there's the nature of a cup, and then there's the name of the cup, right? There's the nature of the cup, and there's the qualities of the cup. Okay, there's the essential cup, and then there's the round shape, the shape of the handle. So these are called ngo and kepa. Okay, ngo means the essence of it holds liquid. That's essence cup. Then kepa means it's blue. This one's round. This one's chubby. Okay, those are called kepa. Okay, so there's the essential cup, and there's the details of the cup. Ngo dan kepa, and there's a thing which is the nexus or the combination of those two things. Okay, all cups, all objects are their essentials, and then their details. Okay, there's the essential of the cup, and then there's the details of this particular cup. Okay, so those kind of things, when you think of cup as the place which has two things, essential nature and details. When you think of cup as combining two things, the essence that makes it a cup, it holds water. And then the details that differentiate it from other cups, right? Is there one thing which has those two things, yes or no? Is there one thing in my hand which has an essential nature of cup and certain personal details about this cup? Yeah, there is. Okay. Double. That's called a concept. That cup is a concept. Okay. Why? And then there's a huge argument of whether it's possible to identify it as a cup in the same millisecond that you identify it as a fat blue one. Okay. In the same millisecond that you identify it as holding water and therefore a cup, can you, in the same millisecond of perception, perceive that it's blue and fat? Is it possible? We say no, because they are different concepts. The mind can't hold two concepts in a millisecond. You know, the classical explanation is, I see it as a cup because I noticed that it's holding coffee. And then in the maybe 2 milliseconds later, I notice that it's blue and fat. But in the same instant, I cannot hold both of those ideas together. But in theory, I do. Do you see this as a fat blue cup? Yes. Is it possible? No. Why? You can't identify it as holding liquid in the same millisecond that you identify it as blue and fat. Okay, so can you ever see a fat blue cup? Yes. Does that happen in a single millisecond? We say no. Okay, probably not possible. But can you say I have a fat blue cup in my hand? Yes. That's a label then. That's an imaginary thing. You have made up a combination of two things which cannot be perceived in the same moment. You have just made that up, Geshe-la. You glued together two separate perceptions of a cup, and you said, I see a fat blue cup in my hand, but you can't. You cannot. You can either identify it as a cup or you can see it as blue, but nobody can do both at once except the Buddha. Okay, nobody can do both at once. Therefore, when you say it's a fat blue cup, you are making up a label. That's a label. And does that label exist? Yeah, you can use it. You can drink coffee out of it. So he says you can divide labels into two. First, useful, made up labels. Fat blue cup. Okay, those are useful, those exist. There's a fat blue cup in my hand. It's okay, we can use it. That's just a label. Nobody could ever see a fat blue and cup at the same moment. But okay, generally speaking, it's useful. Okay, now there's a second category of labeled things which cannot exist. And that's the one we're interested in the mind-only school because we're trying to get to Young. We're trying to get to emptiness. We're not interested in the labels that are useful. We're interested in the labels that are impossible because those are the ones that are causing you trouble in your life. Okay, thinking that things don't come from you is a made-up label. And that's the one that's causing you all the trouble in your life. That's causing you all the suffering in your life. That's the one we're really interested in. Okay, so let's go to the second one. What's the second one? No, what's the second kind of labels? We had labels that do exist. There's a hint.
Those that don't.
Yeah, let's talk about the labels that don't exist. Okay, fat blue cup, I'll buy it. It's not totally correct, but it's usable. It's useful. Now, what are the labels that are not useful? Dak ni tabu.
Oh, the two kinds of self. So
the two kinds of self
and the self of things. Yeah.
Yeah. People who come from their own side and things that come from their own side. Okay. Those are imaginations. Those are fantasies. Are they useful? Yes. No, they're the ultimate unuseful. Okay. They're the ones that cause you all the trouble in your life. That's why you hate people. That's why you have war. You don't want to believe the other country comes from you. You created this maniac who wants to bomb people indiscriminately. You created that. Okay. Dak ni tabu, that kind of thing. People and things that come from their own side. Yongche. Yongche means, here in Yongse Chepa means canceled. It literally means canceled. Those are cancelable kuntaks. We want to cancel them. We want to stop believing that this maniac is not coming from us. Okay, got it? Cool. That's the second kind of kuntak. So what are the two kinds of kuntak? Useful impossibles and not useful impossibles. Okay, got it? Cool? All right, phew. All right, we're ready to go on to the third quality of the mind-only school. Who's going to read?
Geshe-la, this idea about kuntaks necessarily being wrong, which is troubling, but is the idea that somehow an enlightened being would engage on things strictly or directly on the level of changing reality not need labels in this school and only be engaging directly with Shenron?
I think, that's a huge subject and we'll never get anywhere if we discuss it, but cook it, there's an opinion expressed here by one of the greatest thinkers in history that all kuntaks involve misperceptions. Okay. So, okay, 373, who's going to read Utpala?
Pei Ling, please.
Ooh.
涌入你掌帮，一定都达经义，一坤把大陆爬东，为地经一地方一样的一度。
Thank you.
Nice. So what's the definition of Yongdrup, the third category of the mind-only school? By the way, Yongdrup means emptiness in the mind-only school, okay? But it's defined in its relationship to the other two qualities of the mind-only school. The fact that changing things are empty, the fact that a blue cup is empty of existing outside is emptiness in the mind-only school. Blue cup exists? Yes. The fact that it's outside doesn't exist. The fact that it doesn't exist outside is its emptiness. Okay? Existing outside, kunta. Cup, shenwang. The fact that it doesn't exist outside, yongdu. Emptiness in this school. Emptiness in this school. And it's a nice belief. It means everything you see is a result of your own seeds. It's just another way of emphasizing every asshole you meet in your life is inside your own refrigerator. You are looking at your own mind. If you want to shoot them, go ahead. All right. Yondubni Shewang Itendu. Danzen Yi Kuntar. Tar Dupe Tomi. Deshenyi, let's start with Deshenyi. Utpala, Deshenyi. It's tata. Emptiness. It's another word for emptiness.
Oh.
Suchness. You can call it suchness. Okay. Deshenyi means suchness. The same as Tombanyi. Okay. Then read backwards. Emptiness in the form of the fact that things are empty, of the imagination we had about them, misspelled, thank you, of having two kinds of self-nature, okay? Of having two kinds of self-nature. Self-nature to things and self-nature to people. The fact that things are empty of those two self-natures is emptiness in the mind-only school, which we call thusness or suchness. Okay, cool? Why didn't he call it Tombanyi? Why did he use a synonym for Tombanyi? Why did he use a synonym for emptiness rather than saying emptiness?
Because he just used tong, and that would be...
He just used tong as a verb. He just used empty of. And listen, Tongbe Tongni, it's weird. Okay, the emptiness of being empty of. Please, can you say it some other way? How about the suchness where things are empty of? Okay, that's all. He just wanted to spare us confusion. Okay, the fact that everything in the universe is empty of the imaginations you had about it is emptiness, is ultimate reality in the mind-only school. Not bad. Cool? There's a definition of the two kinds of ultimate reality. Yeah. Now we have, what do we have here? We have definition, divisions. Now he's going to give you the divisions of some kind of kuntar. Okay. Sorry, divisions of Yongdrup. He's going to give you the divisions of emptiness. Okay. We still got 1 minute. Utpala. Why don't you read, Utpala?
Okay. Ye na tek chen pakpe che ki pakme tokpe nyamsha yeshe tabu chin chi malokpe yongdrup tang chining jur me yongdrup ni te.
Good. So you can divide mind-only school emptiness into two kinds. And by the way, these divisions are not all divisions in scripture are technically correct. They are just pedagogical. You know, hey, there's two divisions of people in the world. What? There's, good people and there's empty people. And it's not a true division. It's not an exhaustive division. It's just an educational division. And sometimes you get that, okay? You got to be aware that not all divisions in the definition section of a scripture are exhaustive. They are sometimes just to teach the student something. Okay, so Teichenpakpa. Teichenpakpa means what?
And Arya in the middle way school.
Yeah, a bodhisattva who saw emptiness directly. Okay, it's hard to see emptiness directly. It's almost impossible to be a bodhisattva who sees emptiness directly. Okay, but this guy is both. This person is both. Teichenpakpa, Cheki Dakme, Tokpe, they understand the lack of a self nature to things, which is more difficult. Okay, their Nyamshak Yeshi, their wisdom of the path of seeing for a higher track, a bodhisattva in the direct perception of emptiness, extremely rare, every 5 centuries or something. Okay, Nyamshak Yeshi Tabu, that's Chinji Malope Yongtu. Chinji Malokpa means
not wrong.
Correct.
Not wrong. Unmistaken. The unmistaken perception of emptiness by a high Arya is the first kind of Yongdru. But Sugeng is nodding, and I object to your nodding. Why? Why did I object to your nodding?
This is talking about mind only rather than
no, you are positive state of mind as emptiness.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Shenwang, god dang it. That's in the first category. That's a changing thing. That's a functioning thing. Unless you say an Arya's mind is not functioning. Got it? It's extremely offensive. Okay? There's 2 kinds of emptiness. What's the first one? The mind of an Arya. Okay, and again, it's one of those divisions which is educational and not technically correct. Got it? By the way, there's going to be a violent reaction to these 2 divisions. Somebody's going to say, but wait a minute. That's a plain old shit. I don't care if it's an Arya's perception of emptiness. It's still a state of mind. It's still a changing, functioning thing. What the heck is it doing in the ultimate unchanging list? Okay, and there's going to be a fight. K-Dup is picking a fight. Probably the second kind of Yongdup here is pretty normal. What's that? Utpala, Chinyi Girme, easy shmizi. Chinyi, which is Girme.
Mm-hmm.
Empty.
The absence of anything being itself.
Emptiness, Chinyi, Dharmata. Empty, the ultimate nature of things and emptiness are synonyms, which is Girme, which is unchanging.
Unchanging.
Does that fit Yongdu?
Quite.
Yeah, perfect. That I can buy. The unchanging true nature of reality, that sounds like Yongdu to me. But the mind that sees it, are you crazy? That's a plain old Shenwang. Got it? K-Dup is purposely starting trouble here. Okay, which is a pupke, upaya. What's that?
Skillful means. Unexpected strategy.
What's Geshe-la always say about upaya? It's not papaya. It's upaya. All right. Yeah.
Doesn't he say Doc May? Isn't it saying the realization of a lack of self within the mind of an
Yes,
artist?
it does, but the realization is a changing thing. The lack of self is an unchanging thing. Yeah, that's fine.
So Geshe-la, he's saying that unchanging is the emptiness. Emptiness is not changing.
Which part? The first or the second? Yeah, Chuni Gyurme. By the way, Gyurme is a very common name in certain schools of Buddhism, like Kagyu. You know, I had a good friend named Gyurme Dorje, unchanging diamond. And because they come from East Tibet, they'll say Gyurme. Okay, we talk like that, and they talk like they say Gyurme. Hey, Gyurme, med. Hey, Gyurme. Okay. Got it. That's why Kangyur became Kangyur for the early American scholars. Okay, got it. Okay. By the way, Verma Utpala, can you translate 375 for next time?
I will give it my best attempt.
Yeah, and by the way, then he has what we call what do they call it? It's called Take a Break poems. It's called Take a Break poems. And in the middle of a really nasty section, they'll give you a little poem just to make you feel better. Okay, so he breaks into, it's called Parkap Kitsik 378. Parkap Kitsik means, hey, you guys getting freaked out? Yes. Is your mind melting down? Yes. How about I give you a little poetry to calm down? And they throw in 1 or 2 verses of poetry, and then they hit you with the next part. Okay, so there's Parkap Kitsik here. Siksuchepa means shloka, verse. Okay, and then they go into an unbelievable survey of all of Buddhism before he moves to the middle way. So it's incredible. It's an extraordinary section. It's worth the wait. Okay. Okay, so 375, Venerable Upala, and thank you for a nice homework, and thank you for a perfect translation.
You.
Nick, oh, wait, you're going to discuss why this can be useful for us. Grandpa's going to go sit down.
I mean, one thing that sort of came to my mind in this very last part, when Geshe Michael talked about how not all divisions are true divisions, but are pedagogical in nature. I can't say that word. Are used for instructive purposes. That I think it's like maybe a clue when I see something that doesn't seem to quite make sense, that like a Parkak Gitsik, like a verse that's going to be used to give me a little breather, that maybe what I need to do is just take a breath and look and see, what is this trying to teach me? Like, why is this being said here? Could there be some other purpose? That's what I thought of. Does anyone else have thoughts relevant to what we discussed and how they can be used in your daily life?
Oh.
She was silent at the beginning.
Anatole says that it seems like we're heading toward the idea that changing itself is just a label. Changing is just a sequence of labels that are themselves unchanging. And how would you use that in your daily life, Anatole?
Yeah.
It's an experience to feel like nothing's changing, in the sense that everything's just a reflection of my seeds. So you can walk into any situation, and although things are actively changing around you, there's something that's never changing, which is that it's just a mirror of yourself. So you can kind of use that as a kind of armor wherever you go, I think.
Yeah, and that even that the change itself that you perceive is just made up, right?
Yeah,
because you can only see one thing at a time. And so to link things together and then call it changing. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like the cocoon, maybe, or something.
It's a very deep breath. And Pei Ling says that everyone and everything in our lives can be our teacher, and we should see them as our teacher. So help me make that leap, Pei Ling. How did you get from what was discussed today to that conclusion? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I was just curious. What about storage for Kuntaks? What do you mean by storage for Kuntaks? Are you talking about foundation consciousness? About the Kunshi?
Yes.
Yes. Well, what about them? What about it? Oh, if the seeds for billions of, okay, if Kuntaks are for billions of years, where are they stored? So I don't know, the mind only school, doesn't it say that, Word, maybe you can jump in here, but isn't it that if you repeat something over and over, that the seeds, the potentials that exist in the refrigerator part of the kunchi are getting like more potent? Are they actually just creating a whole bunch more seeds?
She had an earlier question and about this, and it might help give you context. You were in class. We were saying how Quintox, there's existent and non-existent Quintox, and then Shenlongs are changing things. So then, if there's no, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ina, by the way. If there's no seeds, if Quintox aren't changing things, how are they planted and stored as Pakchoks in the Kunshi? Or where are they stored if they're not stored there? Something like that. That was her question. My answer?
I don't think you have to store them. I don't think you have to store Kuntoks. I think that's the convenience of them not being real things in this school. Yeah, changing things need a place. And speaking of changing things, of course, I'm mystified by this statement of Kedrip J's about Kuntoks necessarily being in a confused or mistaken state of mind. And I'm thinking a lot about the way that we get stuck behind ideas. We take ideas and we put them on things. And it's not that there's no truth to them, but it's that somehow there's a limitation to truth whenever we put a label on something. We see an object as if the lines around that object are, I don't know, some sort of event horizon where nothing passes, like things aren't interacting with one another all around each other all the time. We have this river that flows through Albuquerque here, the Rio Grande. When you go to point at a river, a river it's made of water, but you go to point at the water, you say that water there, and as soon as you point, the water is gone. And I am a river of change. And I think of myself as a guy who doesn't understand what Kedrip J just said. And I'm struggling with it, and I feel stuck. I feel these the power of these limitations. Find my names for myself, who I think I am, and instead watching things unfold, planting seeds, watching things unfold. They're the limitations of what we can achieve together, what we can achieve individually, what we can achieve as a community. They're not real, is what I'm thinking. That the possibilities for us, like that would make enlightenment seem possible if my labels are false. If every time I reach out to call myself something, it's a little bit of a lie. It could be useful in a certain context, but I've already changed before I even reach out to call myself something. I've become something new in each moment, and so I don't know. I guess this gives me some sense of wanting to walk down the street and see what's possible, and gives me some thought that there may be versions or visions of myself, of one another, that I don't even have words for yet. And by this service to one another, this community that we've built together, I don't know, maybe Geshe Michael, by constantly changing the name of the nightclub, Good Night Club, Good Night Book Club. It's a changing thing, and all the time what this community is, what we're capable of doing together, is moving faster, going farther than any name we can put on it.
Thank you, Ben.
We gotta go to the new show.
Thank you.
Oh, we're a minute over for the peach tree.
Yeah.
But thank you all for thinking about this, and I look forward to the next quiz. That's going to be a trip.
They always are. Thank you so much for an awesome class. Thank you, Geshe Michael, for an awesome class. Upala, that homework was definitely awesome and thought-provoking. Thank you so much to our lovely translators, interpreters, and the Worldview Productions tech team. We love you guys, and we're grateful for you, and we don't thank you enough. So we'll try to start. So thanks. And we have right now another episode from the Peachtree World News. So step on up, guys, and take it away. And we'll see you on Monday for some more Xuanzang's Tower. Oh, and stick around for Class with Word after this, right, Word?
Correct.
Good. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you,
Nick.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going well. Good to see you. And have a nice segment.
Okay, thank you. So Geshe Michael at the beginning of the class was showing us the books that the Book Night Reading Club is sending to people these days.
Book night.
And in that sense and in that regards, I want to share with you something very cool that happened yesterday in Guadalajara, Mexico. Some of the regional organizers of this Good Night Reading Club, now I have to say it all the name, right? The Good Night Reading Club, or local organizers of Guadalajara, well, in Mexico, you know, the Latin America organizers, let's put it that way. They organized like a very first event to start promoting these books. It was a very successful, very cool event. They were having fun playing. They decided to dress up in their pajamas, just like, you know, making it more like a really set up for like if you were going to bed, and we want to share a little bit of what happened. It's a very short video, but it's great. So maybe you organizers or people around the world can start making your own little good night reading club events and let people know what's happening, encourage them to read. Let's check it out.
It is especially cool today for male and female, but also different.
Y dijimos que es posible tomar el camino presentado en este libro, que es...
De hecho, este libro es su primera edición impresa, es el último que tradujo el maestro Ward Smith.
Great idea.
So thank you very much to all of us that make that possible. Daniel came all the way. Daniel lives in Germany. He came all the way to Mexico. Flavia, Olga, and many more people organized the event. So thank you very much. And we keep encouraging you to sign up for the reading club now. Book night reading club. Good night club. Oh, you see, even the poster. So it's not my fault. Good night club to the nightclub. And yeah, you can use the QR codes. It's very, very nice. Very, very worth it. And check it out. The next one. Yes, there you can see some of the local organizers with the QR codes. And yeah, I thought it was a great idea. So imagine like different cities, different places in the world can start having good night reading clubs events time to time and create community, let people know this is happening. We all have great time reading these books. Then we want to share with you some more news happening, and then we will have a special interview for a very cool topic. So we're gonna go fast with this next news. Then in 3 more minutes, interview with some special guest. Okay, YSI is organizing soon at the end of this month, an event of Fast for Hunger. Some of you may have heard about this event before. It's like when you dedicate one of your meals to remove world hunger. It's a very cool event. You're gonna get to hear a little bit more about this in detail very soon. We're gonna have special interviews, but I'm letting you know it's happening at the end of this month. Okay, next one. We want to share with you and remind you that YSI is providing a very cool video of Geshe-la and Bob Cirino playing music. We want to show the previews, but if you are interested in getting the video, use these QR codes. There you can get it at the Yoga Studies Institute website. We're gonna just show you the preview of the video they produce, and you can get it using these QR codes. So let's watch the video.
I can hear her heartbeat from 1,000 miles, and the heavens open every time she smiles. When I come to her, and then I belong. When I run to her like a river song, she give me love, 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 crazy love. She give me love, 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 crazy love. She got a fine sense of humor.
So check it out. Beautiful, no? I really like it. You can find it at the Yoga Studies Institute website if you are interested about it. And this is a good time. Yes, there you go. Use the QR codes. It will send you to the website. Yes, this is a great time again to remind you about this is your last chance. Kyoto is coming up. Sign up now. You can still make it. March 19th to 23rd. It's going to be very cool and special teachings by Team Lowenhub in Kyoto, Japan. So you still have a chance. It's not too late, but soon it will be. So use the QR code, try to come. It's gonna be very, very fun. I hear Kyoto is beautiful. You're gonna have fun and learn some very meaningful content there. If you can make it, try to come. And yeah, we have many more news, but I think it's time to go with our special guest, which is Sunam from Diamond Mountain. She has very special news about a very cool event. Are you there, Sunam?
Thank you, Juan, for having me.
Very
It's
welcome.
wonderful.
How's going over there? How's the spring?
It's good. The spring is coming. The first flowers are out. The first animals are out. Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit, because I was very surprised to hear about this new when we first talked. And I think it's a great thing for everyone to know. What's special about this particular year in Diamond Mountain?
We are celebrating the Diamond Mountain's 20th anniversary and the 10th year anniversary of the end of the 3-year retreat. So
wow.
Let's celebrate, let's party. And, you know, celebration and party is about honoring all the people who contributed to Diamond Mountain, what it is today. So many people volunteered. A lot of work went into it, what it is today. And we really want to take the chance to celebrate it and honor all these people. So there are a lot of surprises. The party will be on April 20th, starting at 4:30 p.m.
Wow, and so that's, oh, sorry, Sunam, that's during the Steps on the Path retreat?
Exactly.
Oh.
So everybody can join the party, either online. If you want to come on site for the party, because we're fully booked, bring a tent or book a hotel in Wilcox and stop by for the party. And also then the teachings on the next day in the morning, everybody can attend. So it's really, really excited. And what we will do during the party, the surprises, I need your help, that we can make one surprise happening. We want that Geshe-la teaches a very, very special class. Ooh. And I would like all of you to open your mic and that we ask Geshe-la now that he teaches. So maybe you can open your mic and then we do the traditional thing and say 3 times, please teach, please teach, please teach. Are you ready?
Ready.
Open your mic. Let's do the coyote thing. 1, 2, 3. Please teach.
Please teach. Please teach.
老师，请教授我们。
Пожалуйста, please.
Пожалуйста, обучай нас. Пожалуйста, обучай нас.
What is the class about?
You need to ask Geshe-la.
Okay.
That's why I need your help. Thank you so much for throwing your karma in there as well and helping me with that we might have a special surprise class. Then we also will hear lots of stories about the last 20 years, what happened in Diamond Mountain. It will not be a boring history. It will be really fun storytelling about what happened in the last 20 years. And then lots of eat and dancing. That's part of a party, eating and dancing. So please sign up. And when you sign up, please let us know your favorite dance song. Which is your favorite dance song, Juan?
I don't know. I have so many. I can't tell you the name right now, but I really like dancing and I really like parties and I really like food and teachings. So it looks like a great deal. Everything.
Yes. So yeah. Sign up, come in person for the party or join online for the party. Celebrate with us. Let's honor and review the last 20 years. Thank you so much for having me, Juan.
Thank you as well, and congratulations to Diamond Mountain. 20 years of activities and projects happening there. 10 years. Congratulations to the people who did the last 3-year retreat there. It's funny because I can't believe 10 years already. That's the first time I went to Diamond Mountain, is when the 3-year retreatants were finishing the retreat. I remember Ben Kramer being there. I met him. You wouldn't imagine what's the first thing he told me. It's funny. I won't tell you yet, but it was great. Nothing bad.
Then I invite you for the storytelling if you have a funny story about that.
Maybe we can do that, because I remember Earl used to have long hair. I remember many people who were there during those days. It was great.
Yeah.
My English was very, very little. Still is sometimes, but you know. Thank you so much, Sunam. So we will check it out. We will check it out. I encourage people to check it out, and we will see again on Monday. And Geshe-la, thank you so much for everything. Please teach, please teach, please teach, and see you soon. Now we go back to Wordsmith for more Tibetan learning.
Hello.